Ever imagine yourself, heading off to study in Belgium, and suddenly, bam, the door slams shut?
Yeah.
Pretty rough, right? Well, that's what some students might be facing, and it all boils down to budgets and visas.
Oh, yeah.
So we're diving into some articles from the Brussels Times.
Right.
They're talking about how the Federation of Francophone Students, the FEF,
Right.
has raised some serious concerns about how these visa restrictions could hit university finances. So let's unpack this, shall we? We're talking about some serious budget cuts.
Yep.
In the French-speaking community.
Right.
They're looking at slashing university budgets by, 6.5 million?
6.5 million euros, that's right, for 2025.
Euros, yeah, for 2025. Ouch.
Yeah. It's a pretty big chunk of change. And
Yeah.
their plan is to kind of make up for that by hiking tuition fees for non-EU students.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, they're going to raise it to 4,175 euros.
Whoa.
So basically, they're looking to international students to fill that budget gap.
Yeah, they're really leaning on them. But isn't there a snag with this whole plan?
Yeah, there's a big one.
What is it?
While all this is happening, the federal government, the one that handles immigration,
Right.
they're thinking about clamping down on visas.
Really?
Yeah, particularly for countries that have high migration rates.
So fewer students coming in, but the ones that do get in are paying a whole lot more.
Exactly.
Okay, now I see why the FEF is sounding the alarm.
Yeah, it's definitely raising eyebrows. And the FEF president, Adam Asui,
What's he saying?
he's saying this whole approach is unfair.
Yeah.
It's basically putting the squeeze on international students who are already, let's face it, facing an uphill battle to study abroad.
Absolutely.
And his view isn't unique,
No, not at all.
I mean, student groups across Europe are all singing the same tune.
Of course, cost of education, it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a hot button issue.
It really is.
For sure.
Makes me wonder, too, even if they do hike these fees, if enrollment drops, will it even be enough to plug that hole in the budget?
Right. The whole plan seems a bit wobbly, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, like they're building a house of cards.
Yeah.
And, beyond the money, there's this bigger question, right? Universities, they're supposed to be these melting pots.
Yeah.
Diverse, full of different ideas, different cultures.
Right.
But if you start shutting the door on students from certain parts of the world, it just kind of goes against that whole idea.
You lose that richness, that exchange.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like trying to create a world-class orchestra, right? But you only let musicians from, like, a handful of countries audition.
Oh, I like that.
You might hit the right notes, but you're missing out on this whole symphony of sound.
A symphony of sound, yeah, perfect analogy. And, the FEF, they're pushing for a totally different tune.
What do they want?
They're saying the government needs to step up, invest more in education instead of trying to balance the books on the backs of these international students.
Yeah, playing this risky game with budget cuts and tuition hikes.
Right. It's a risky game.
It is. And it kind of begs the question, is this even a sustainable model for universities?
Right.
I mean, should they be so reliant on international student fees?
Yeah.
Especially when you're making it harder for those students to even get there.
Yeah. Especially when you're putting up roadblocks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a question that's worth thinking about, especially now.
Yeah.
I mean, other countries are wrestling with these same issues,
Absolutely.
Budgets are tight. Immigration is a hot topic. And the demand for good education, it's just skyrocketing.
It really is.
So what's happening in Belgium, it might just be a preview of what's coming elsewhere.
A glimpse into the future. Huh?
Yeah, a future where getting a good education and all the diversity that comes with it, well, it might become harder and harder.
Something to think about, for sure.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Big one. Absolutely.
Yeah.